of all, I think your analysis was very straight line. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing frogs.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I got that.
Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Come on, Lou Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
the
an
kind of
erratic
Mikhail
detective,
Rodriguez.
is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? No, how you deal with that? You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Kingdom, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Hi there, welcome to the Friday edition, the Carly edition of the Freddie Kissoon Show. Wherever you are, a pleasant Friday morning, evening, afternoon to you. Thanks for being with us. This is the call-in version of the Freddie Kissoon Show. We are live. We come to you live every Friday evening. So whatever mistakes we make, whatever foul up, they cannot be erased. This is a live program. Sharing the platform this evening with me is Virginia Besessar. He was here last week, and it was quite a torrid session. When you're controversial, then flames emanate from your controversies. So sharing the platform tonight with me is Virginia Besessar. Please call in. Last Friday evening, there was some heated exchange, and one caller tended to get personal. I mean, with due respect to Virginia Besessar, he did not get personal. The other caller did, and we asked him not to, and he toned it down. So if you're going to disagree with Mr. Besessar, if you're going to have an exchange with him, he is one of Guyana's most experienced political person. I've known Virginia since we went into UG in 1974. So he's been active since then. Now, you may not share his political perspective. I certainly don't. For the 2 years, 4 months this program has been on, for all the columns I write daily in the Chronicle, I think people know where my politics stand. I support the presidency of Guyana, and I am a strong admirer of Anil Nandalal. I would not vote for any other party than the party that Nandalal belongs to and Irfan Ali. I've known Dr. Ali since we were on the council of the university, and I taught Anil Nandalal at UG many, many moons ago. But if it doesn't matter if you don't share someone's ideology, perspective, you can keep it intellectual, you can keep it civil. So our lines are open. Just call and discuss anything. Now, when you saw the advertisement for this edition of the program, it said, "I'm getting married again next week." That was a joke. I just wanted to use that to talk about the gifts I will receive if I marry again because of what is going on with Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Boutas. And a lot of information came out in the courts today about him. So I just was kind of caricature, that if I marry again, I'm a dinosaur, a troglodyte. I've been around a long time. I've chalked up more than 55 years of activism and patriotism. And I was just thinking, so many people know me. If I get married again, I could collect a couple $1 million, which I owe, which I need. I need very much. So I decided if I get married again, let me see. My friend Leonard Gildari, you give me $1 million. Anil, the Attorney General, would be generous. The President would be generous. Charandas will be generous.
So don't count the chicken before they're hatched.
Seeraj will be generous. So if I marry again, I could collect a couple $1 million because Mr. Bootis got $8 million from one business person. Now, if I count up those names I just called and what I get, I could get those millions I need to repay my house. So it was a joke saying I'm getting married again. Of course, I would be renewing my vows to the woman I married 47 years ago. So that was a joke on what is going on with Mr. Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Bootis, and he applied to leave the country, and so the state had to respond. And what came out there is that Mr. Bootis is facing a number of charges over possession of about $800 million. We don't know if he's guilty or not. So that is just the facts that came out in court. Those are allegations. So the other thing we need to tell you is that last week, 2 Barbicians were responsible for lashing a dog in its head, killing it, then slitting its throat. Those 2 persons have been charged. And
they were brought before the court.
They have been brought before the court, and the foreign-based Guyanese had his passport, had to lodge his passport. Obviously, he's a flight risk. He's early 70s. When a person could be in the early 70s and have a traveling mind, you visit, they say travel expands the mind, and he could do that to an animal. What has he learned from life being 71 years of age? But there is the phone lines on the screen.
You know, one of the things I like to talk about.
Yeah.
In the news, we talk about the free tuition at the University of Guyana. I don't have a problem with free tuition at the University of Guyana, but I want to make this point. On many occasions, I made the point that some measures benefit a particular section and do not really trickle down to a certain section of the population. So it's all well and nice to have free tuition at the University of Guyana at Torkine. But the point I raised the last time, somebody from Berbice will have free tuition, but there's a question of a poor guy having to come, renting a place, having to find food. If in a family house, he will eat with his family. So there's a cost to it. And so that poor gentleman, a brilliant guy, yes, will not be able to attend the University of Guyana, although there's free tuition, because he can afford the rent. So that is why I keep advocating sometimes not only free this and free that, but a professional welfare system that allows people to approach it, and people are investigated, and assistance is directed to those who need, as opposed to say, let's give everybody millionaires and the billionaires, and the poor man, you know, it sounds nice and the gesture is good. But we need to have a system that reaches out. We have 40% poverty. We need to have a system, not ad hoc distribution of money as if it is their personal property. You know, and some people say, thank you. I don't go to the ATM and draw money and say thank you to the ATM. It's our money, and so we have to monitor how it's spent. So that's what I'm bringing to the attention. I noticed a change from 200,000 to 100. But that's a one-off payment. It's like 100,000 will be like $8,000 a month. $8,000 a month, so it's no big deal. It's something big, it'll spend it out within a week. So I want to see, like, when I was advisor to the Minister of Human Services, people used to come into the office all the time, myself was advisor to Indra Chandrapal at the time, and we'll put our hands in our pocket to help people in need. So I sort of lobbied the president for the difficult circumstance program that exists at the Ministry of Labor. It still exists, and I ran it for a period of time, and thousands of people were assisted in various ways. Like, for instance, I help people with prosthesis, false foot or whatever. Sometimes they'll get small grants to mind some chickens or to buy a glass case and sell some things. Various ways. Sometimes we didn't have money. I remember calling DDL. This guy was in a wheelchair in Better Hope. And I called DDL and said, look, the guy had a fridge and cooler and he could sell drinks. So I called him to give him $10,000 worth of drinks. One time I called Tulsi Prasad. A woman's house was burned down. He donated the lumber, and Region 2 chairman supplied the labor. So there were various creative measures was used to assist people. So I'm bringing this to the attention of the authorities that it's nice, but we need to also have some kind of policy that will be directed towards those who really need it. So I'm bringing that to your attention. The last time I spoke about the $40,000 in the giving to school children, but nobody looking at those who are not in school. So those children are left behind. The other point I like to make is that in our education system, we have, in fact, the largest faculty at the university is the social sciences. And in a country like ours, we expect more engineering aspect. And we need some more vocational training. We need to have more fit, like we had Gaisuko College producing excellent technicians that everybody that's in the demand. So we need a couple more like those where people can learn fitter machining, welding, and other skills, carpentry and other skills. They're in dire need in Guyana. Electrician, auto electrician. You try to get an electrician to come to your house to fix something, you can't find one. Solar, we are going solar. So we need to also to train people to deal with solar energy, how to set it up and fix it. Another area is washing machine. A lot of people go to washing machines nowadays. And so we need people to fix those things. You call somebody to fix a washing machine, to change a bar, it's $20,000, $25,000. The other day I said, no way. I go to Google.
Let's take this call. Good evening. You're on to the Freddie Kissoon Show.
Good night, Mr. Freddie.
Yeah? You're on the air.
Good night, boss.
Good night. You have anything to say? Hello?
Probably just called to say good night.
Oh, just called to say good night. Good night then. Hello and bye-bye.
So I don't know where you...
Hello?
Hi, Mr. Kissoon. Good night to you and your co-host.
Rajendra Bisesar.
I don't know if Mr. Bisesar is familiar. I'm listening to him with all the things he's saying that we need. I don't know if he's familiar that the government have programs in place through the Board of Industrial Training, and they're developing young people in all those areas that he's talking about. Practically every month, throughout the length and breadth of this country, you got 3-4 graduations. Hundreds of young people graduating in different skills, both male and female. You have females that are electricians, that are heavy-duty machines operators, right? And so hearing him, listening to him saying all these things, there are programs in place. And sometimes we as people need to understand, not everything we need to depend on the government on. If the government is providing free university education, and you got to find somewhere to stay, why you want the government to find somewhere for you to stay to? It's like you want the entire nation to become dependent on a government, then where will we end up? I think people feel because Guyana got oil and all this oil money is that Guyanese will just sit down and throw back home and let the government take care of them. And I could never agree with that. Then we would got a nation of smokers and set of young people lying up on the corner because they got to study about going to work. where we can end up? Where are we going to end up? So, Mr. Bissessar, I think you didn't get your information properly, or you didn't get your facts together. The Board of Industrial Training every single month.
Thank you, sir. I can say this to you. I was advisor to the Minister of Labour, Dr. Dale Bisnath. I'm fully aware of the Industrial Board of Training. But what I'm saying to you, in order to take the developed countries, take the USA and so on, you have the private sector establishing various schools, but it's not happening in training centers. A lot of it is taking place because the private sector is putting it in place. In Guyana, I always say that we have a weak private sector. And so we cannot depend on the private sector.
But
now, if a person, allow me to finish, please. I allowed you to.
Board of Industrial Training.
I allowed you to finish, please.
Okay,
I am not saying they don't exist. I am saying we need to expand. Okay, we need to expand in the various areas. That's all I'm saying. Governments have to do things. They do things, no doubt about that. All I'm saying, they need to expand, and you talk about, and now that we have the monetary capacity, then we need to do so.
But Mr. Bissessar, they're expanding.
Fine, thank you very much for telling me.
You have young people. They're training to be refrigerator electrician.
So you don't disagree with me.
The washing machine.
So you don't.
Things that wasn't happening.
So you don't disagree with me then, okay?
And sometimes we have to face reality. We need to. Sometimes all we need to do in this country is to put politics aside and face the reality.
Well, I wasn't talking politics, but
There is so much going on for young people in this country right now. They have so much opportunity.
Okay.
Opportunity young people have.
But you cannot deny the fact.
There's some young people that just want to sit down and be lazy.
But you cannot deny the fact that the World Bank and the IMF and everybody says we have about 40% poverty. So I am just saying that we need to tackle it in a professional way. I am saying to you, this ad hoc handout money here and there is not the way. I am saying we need a professional welfare system that could tackle it.
With all due respect,
Do you disagree with that?
Handout money. I call to address a point that
it's ad hoc. Up to now, they can't make up their mind. It was not well planned.
Well, the caller said he's not. The caller said that's not his area of discussion. His area of discussion is the young.
Yes, address that. So with the handouts, if you want to call it handout, right? The president and the government saw a need to help the people of this country, and they're doing that. If you see it as a handout, with all due respect, that's a matter for you.
Well, that's what it is, isn't it?
There's thousands of Guyanese not seeing it as handout. But if in your eyes it's handout, that's a matter for you.
That's a local. Everybody's calling it that. I mean, nothing wrong with it. I am saying nothing wrong with it, but things must be well planned.
The bad thing about this is that if the government wasn't doing anything, you would have had people like you sitting talking a mouthful, and the government is doing, and you're still talking a mouthful.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
30 years in this country, for the past 30 years in this country, and I can attest to that. I'm in my late 40s. This is the best government Guyana ever had under Dr. Irfan Ali.
Thank you very much.
The best. Have a blessed night.
Okay, so call in next Friday, right? Hope to hear from you. Bye-bye, sir.
It's interesting. Of course, the government do things.
Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hi. Good evening. I just want to make a comment on what was being said. First of all, Ghana is now getting on its feet money-wise with the oil. Secondly, I live in America. I have children that have gone to college who did indeed get help from our government. But they went to college in the night and they found a job during the day to help with their boarding and their lodging and their food. They also found their books. The only thing they see is tuition. So I don't know where in America any private sector help these kids. Because I have children going to college and now I have grandchildren going to college who work in the day and go to college in the evening and pay their way my little piece I want.
Wait, let the lady finish.
You're absolutely correct, but I would like to point one thing out to you.
I don't want to hear anything you say. I'm done. I'm finished.
Okay, fine, but I'll still say, with regard to what
Thank you.
With regard to what was said, in America, you have all these jobs available. You have all these training colleges available. It's not available in Guyana. America is a developed country, and you can't make the comparison to Guyana because some students can find some jobs all over the place, and in fact, the private sector facilitates the students and give them jobs during the summer and so on. Guyana is not a developed country. As I said, we do not have private sector training colleges all over the place giving night training and day training and getting jobs at night. Our economy is not developed. You cannot make the comparison.
Good evening. You have to tune down. You have to tune down your phone or television, sir. Hello.
Hello, Freddie?
Yes, sir.
Good night, boss.
Good night.
Why, Freddie, watching this program for me, they use cars. Do I use bring these type of people on this show?
Sir, listen. If you disagree with Mr. Bisesal, I don't agree with Mr. Bisesal's politics.
Okay,
but that doesn't mean... But that doesn't mean... Listen, I don't... Excuse me. Have a conversation with Mr. Bisesal, argue your point, and people will learn from you and learn from Mr. Bisesal. So, is there some...
The man can't know we none.
Listen.
I just want to tell you the boss.
All right. Anything else, man? Anything else, sir?
Some people support the government fine, and they say it's a democracy, but they do not tolerate different views.
Good evening.
Good evening, good night. How are you guys?
I'm doing all right. I can't speak for Mr. Besessa. I'm doing all right.
I'm okay.
Good night to the panel. Mr. Freddie?
Yeah?
I quite agree with the government giving each person $100,000.
I agree with that too, sir.
Yes. But there is an issue I have.
What's that?
And the issue that I have, we could use some of that money to build more seawalls across the country. Seawalls, and put proper pump stations for when the rain is falling to flood the town. And one reason, the garbage that we have across this country, Region 5, Region 6, Region 4, the main three regions across this nation, where a problem. We need in West Coast Barbies a garbage site. I think the government should look into it. There's garbage all over, and we should put some emphasis on that. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thanks for coming.
Actually, those 2 points are excellent point, because very frequently you hear some coker breaks down, blow away. So they need to have their engineers moving through the country, examining all of these cokers and sluices, and have preventative action, maintain them so that you don't blow away and then damage people's crops and flood people's homes. You're absolutely correct with regard to that. With regard to the garbage, you're absolutely correct also. I'm from Berbice. I used to be personal assistant to the president, and we discussed this whole idea of how to remove garbage.
Okay.
So Berbice do need a dump site.
Hello.
Good night.
Good night.
You there?
Yes. You're on the air. Go ahead.
I have a question regarding public works. Do they still have that in Guyana where when you have roads that are going bad, that there's a pothole or something like that? Do they have like a service that actually fixes those? Because what I noticed is that they will let the entire street go bad before they try to address it. I mean, back in the days, you used to have the guys from that works for the government or work for the region will come out and fix those holes, before the entire street go bad. They wouldn't wait for it to fall apart. But I don't see that anymore. Is that still happening?
It is not, and I've written about that also, because some of these holes suddenly appear in the main public road. And I busted my tires a couple of times. The workshop, I saw a whole set of rims that were broken. And in fact, it could cause death to people on the road. They do need that maintenance crew.
What I noticed back in the days, you would have the public works. I'm not saying
they had a maintenance crew, right?
When I was, as a kid, you would have these people come out with a little bitumen or whatever and put in the holes just to resolve or somewhat temporarily resolve the issue. So the entire street, it wouldn't, segregate more or less or, get worse. We'll try to patch it, but I'm not seeing that at all. I mean,
it's not taking place.
I'm in Parfit, for instance, and I noticed that there was a little hole, and then before you know it, there's a trench on the road itself.
And the whole road goes, right.
Go wrong it, basically.
A stitch in time saves 9. You save the road.
Exactly, but I don't see that happening. So I was wondering if that still exists, if they still have, if they still had that kind of system in place. You could see the guy working on the next street building the road, but the other street is still, it's like potholes after potholes, and nobody's really addressing those, those concerns. So I don't know I was just wondering if they have something like that, or if they do not, they should at least have something like that in place to, at least to address those issues.
Okay, sir. Anything else?
That's all I got to say. No, that's it.
Okay, thanks for coming through. Hope to hear from you next Friday.
When Robeson-Ben was the Minister of Infrastructure Public Works, I would call him, he'll answer his phone, and he'll fix the hole.
Yeah, I'll call him.
Call her on the line. Good night.
Hello?
Good night, you're on air.
Hello?
Good night. Are you hearing me? I don't know.
You got your phone and record?
Yeah,
hello?
Good night.
Hello. Hi, how are you doing today?
You're on air.
Hello, sir.
We're hearing you.
Yes, all right. Good. How are you doing, guys? Raj, my question to you is, I know you for a long time, and you were a diehard PPP.
Yeah.
And you would have joined the AFC and become a fool. I know you joined.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. Man, you. I know you've been calling on this program. You can't say you can't use a better word. You've joined the FC and become misguided or become. We have to be so personal, man. Anyway, go ahead, sir.
All right. No. Freddie, I'll apologize immediately. I mean, you know how much respect I have for you. I apologize immediately.
Okay, go ahead.
You should respect people with different views.
My point is, I know Rajendra Bese sir from the days of UG, from the days of laying in comments, large industry, he married a girl from industry, blah, blah, blah. And this is a guy who I would have, oh my God, show tremendous respect for, because he was one of this diehard stand up for no nonsense PPP guy. Well, not PPP guy, politically correct guy.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Am I cut off there?
No, that's the landline. Go ahead.
Okay, and he would have joined a party that we all know now is defunct, a total collapse. And now he's forming a party that he might not even get his own, maybe his sister or brother to vote for him. I mean, where has the intellect gone, Rajendra Bese, sir? Where is the breakdown?
So it is your belief, you believe in democracy?
I do.
So when somebody has a different view, you're going to call them fool, right?
No, he apologized. So let's go beyond that.
So let me say this to you. I was a diehard PPP. All my family are overseas. I stayed in Guyana with the PPP. I got licked jail and tortured. You're talking personal. I was personal assistant to the president. The corruption became deep-rooted. Dollar Ramatar, let me finish, allowed you to finish, allow me to finish. Dollar Ramatar, the presidential candidate of the PPP, is on the headline saying the corruption is deep-rooted and he will root it out. Mr. Bisesar, as you said, will not be party of a corrupt government.
That's your only line, though.
30,000 people left the PPP to vote for the coalition. I suppose all of them were wrong. And all of those who are the PPP right now defending the PPP, they are correct. And in the same way, you have PNC people defending the PNC and the nonsense they do, and we have PPP people defending everything the PPP do and cannot accept criticism.
I don't defend corruption at all, boss.
That is what I did. I went, listen to me. I went on television. I went
social media comments.
I went on television. They asked me about the corruption. I was a major defender of the PPP. I said I'm sick of the corruption. And the very next day, the office of the president instructed the PS to terminate my service. Is that the kind of people you want to support? No, that happened afterward. Listen. Listen.
What came did to you when you called the corruption under the coalition?
I was not fired, by the way. I was not fired. I left the coalition. I criticized them. Let me finish. I had 7 television programs. I campaigned against the coalition. I had 7 television programs campaigning against it. Okay.
When you finish, let him continue, and then you could reply. Go ahead, Saul.
Yes.
The back and forth and getting us nowhere.
Freddie, is hearing some noise? I have a couple of kids in me. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, and then Virginia will reply. Go ahead.
No. The hypocrisy here is not forgiven, Freddie Kissoon. It's not forgiven.
Do you realize I was marginalized by the PPP itself? And where did Bharat come from? Janet pushed him into power. He never lifted a finger. Allow me to talk now. Bharat never lifted a finger in the PPP or PYO. And they rigged the elections of Central Committee. They rigged the Central Committee elections to put who they want there. You deny all of that?
And you stood silently when the coalition was trying to rig the election in 2020 and
Sir,
supported the rigging.
I resigned from the alliance, from the coalition, when they said 34 was majority. I had 7 television programs. I have numerous letters in the press. And let me finish, please. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. You said I was quiet. I had 7 television programs attacking the coalition. So you're absolutely incorrect. I supplied food every night to the people watching the people that were watching the containers. Every night I supplied them with food.
Who immediately take to the platform and condemn the atrocities that our country is going to be meted out with.
I condemn the coalition as I condemn the PPP's corruption.
All right,
thank you very much.
That's about it? That's it?
Good night.
Yeah, all right.
No, hold on. Rajendra, I know you personally.
Don't deal with me personally. Deal with some topic.
All right, all right.
You have disgraced yourself, brother.
All right, okay, man.
Disgrace yourself.
All right, let's call it, George, till next week.
Take care, Freddie.
Okay, bye-bye. That's another call coming through. Hello?
Good night.
Hello?
Hello, good night.
Good night,
This
good night.
question is for Freddie Kissoon.
Yeah.
In terms of the 100,000 cash grant that will be distributed to Guyanese, some of the key questions, and this is more in terms of economic terms. With the rising inflation, is it that does government has any measures or strategy in place to curb price gouging and price discrimination that would lead to rising inflation as the cash grant started distribute and the demand would increase in terms of buying certain things from businesses. If government has any measure put in place to deal with the businessmen not to involve in price gouging and discrimination due to the increase in money circulating in the economy starting January the 1st. Question 2, with the program you all have in Guyana there, in terms of educating people, which is good, education, trade program, etc. What strategy the government has to industrialize Guyana to be competitive like Trinidad and other economies in order to increase our economic growth and development? Because our agriculture industry would not be sufficient in order to put Guyana at a far advanced economy. They have to go into heavy industrialization. And this is a challenge that affects most of those developing countries.
All right.
And question
Number three.
What measures the government have in terms of reducing poverty? For example, conducting proper feasibility studies in key poor areas where they could roll out monthly grocery food cards targeting poor single mothers in those ghetto areas, etc. We're not seeing that. And finally, Gobin Abachan, as one of the most activists that normally help a lot of people in Burby, what about those other activists and those people who claim they're helping the poor do not do as much work as Gobin Abachan in Burbies? How you would handle those questions?
Okay, sir. Thanks for coming through. Good evening.
Good evening, Fred. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
All right. I'm very happy to see my friend, Mr. Rajendra Bisesar, back on the program tonight. I want to give this guy, I want to give Mr. Bisesar a high five tonight. You're a brave guy, man. To come out tonight again, back-to-back weekend, to expose yourself to take blows after blows. My friend, you must sit down and think back, reassess what you have done for this country. You did, during the Cherry Jagan time, you did a remarkable job. I was there with you. We fought for democracy. But you really kind of, you fall in the category of Ramjatan and Moses Nagamutu. Pure opportunists. I never knew or realized that you have this tendency, my brother. But, you should really keep yourself out of the public. I told you this last week. But beside the fact, I
hope you can keep it intellectual. Let him tell me when you finish so we can avoid the back and forth.
Mike, why don't you come to Guyana?
Wait.
Mike, why don't you come
hold
to Guyana?
Hold a sec, Ginger. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Why don't you come to Guyana, Mike?
But Ginger, please wait.
No,
please wait. Yeah.
Listen, I was kind of driven out of the country because of I was pushed out of the country. I was there 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I'll give you a break tonight. I just want to comment on the situation at the CGIA, Cherry Jagan International Airport. I think they have a far way to go. I have commented this online. I've, tagged, president and everyone who is kind of involved. My experience there when I was in Guyana for the CPF, arriving was phenomenal. It was a great process. The airport, whatever the facilities, is good. Coming back, it was like a nightmare. There were 3 flights leaving at the same time, so I do understand that. But the staff there, I've never seen a swarm of, Martin Carter wrote about the brown beetles crawling on the ground. The departure lounge was flooded with these brown clothes, people standing around. It feels like you're in a one of these countries that's under siege. One of the things, I looked at it, and many people elderly people have to lift their baggage and put it on a scanner to get through that scanner. Come on, man. They really need to do this, You don't send people off with a middle finger, people need to come back here and feel like they're appreciated. The attitude of people who work there on the departure lounge need to be examined. I even commented and tagged Mr. Ramesh Gear of C.
Hello? Okay, let's take this call. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good night. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Bissessar for what he's doing. He's a stern man. He's a man with knowledge and understanding. He was pushed to the highest limit from the PPP, and now he's making that right move. I think we Guyanese should acknowledge that the man is a good man, and he's trying. This is what you call democracy. Democracy he's looking for, and the rest of those people who is calling and lambarding the man, they have no knowledge what democracy is about. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Bye-bye. Good evening. You're on to the Freddie Kissoon Show. You're on the air. Let's go.
I'm Mr. Freddie. Good night.
Good night.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like a show. Keep the good work.
All right.
You hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah. Keep the good work.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir. No, sir.
Thank you very
all
much.
Right.
Okay, bye.
What I find very interesting,
our numbers are on the.
What I find very interesting is that those persons who concentrated on abusing me, they live overseas. They're not living here. They live overseas, and they concentrate on attacking people who live in Guyana. I remain in Guyana fighting the PNC, which he acknowledged. He said he was forced out. I took my blows and I stayed. And when I joined the AFC, it was because of the conduct of the PPP. And when I left the AFC, it was because of their conduct.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Kissoon and Mr. Bissessar. I want to tell you something, Freddie. You listening?
I'm listening to you.
I'm telling you, when you read it's out of politics. That's like what Freddie.
Could you turn it on?
I said when you read certain things, just ease out of politics. Especially things that go your way. Mr. Bissessar, I have respect for you, should ease out. And now I'll be talking about cash grant is very good. Yeah, the cash grant is very good. I know they have corruption in the country, left, right, and center.
Just hold.
And nobody is not no pain, no eat it. You have to ease out, Mr. Bissessar. Don't worry with the thing. Ease and rest yourself. Don't worry no politics no more in your life. That's my contribution.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yes.
Freddie, good night.
Good night.
Good evening, sir.
Huh?
Good evening.
Good
You're
night.
on the air. We listen to you.
Okay. I want to ask a question. Okay. I'm a Guyanese, but I go back and forth. Do I entitle for the 100,000?
I would think that it is for people based in Guyana.
But there's an ambiguity.
If you're not based in Guyana, it's a moral question. Why would you want to collect 100,000, which is a cash grant, to help Guyanese? I mean, it's given to people.
I'm a Guyanese.
I'm not talking about nationality, sir. I am talking about people living in Guyana. There are Guyanese all over the world. I'm sure there are Guyanese in Iceland.
You know, sir,
yes, sir. Yes, anything else more?
No, I just want to know that.
No.
But you want, hold a sec, you want the 100,000?
Not really, but if it is given to me,
Well, you haven't answered you haven't answered the question. It can't be not really, and if it's given to you, you'll take it. If you live outside and you're doing well outside, why would you want 100,000 Guyanese? Aren't you doing well? Aren't you doing well outside?
It's a charity.
Pardon me?
Instead of somebody use my name and get it.
No.
Some people could use your name and get it. It doesn't work like that. Anyway, let's take this call. Let's take this call, sir. Okay. Hello, good evening.
A very good evening, sir. I just would want to raise some concern about a number of things that is currently on the headline in our country. For instance, how is it that the police officer of the Guyana Police Force is having it in his possession?
Allegedly, sir. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly have in his possession hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Is not the police officers or the government in the whole, your government workers in the whole, they have a law where that in certain positions you must submit your accounts to the Integrity Commission.
I don't know if that applied to senior police
people,
officers.
You would apply, but then they don't write the truth.
Or in government or government institution holding certain offices. This law is not required to these to the workers that work with the government or officers of police.
So, and senior people, sorry, not public servants per se.
Senior persons, wherever. But hear what happened. This is an embarrassment. And this is supposed to be one of the strongest institutions in our country. One of the strongest institutions in our country. Now, this is to come back to what I talked about last week, about procurement procedure. But I don't want to go more deep into it because I know it's in the court and what's not and what's not.
The matter is not in front of the court yet. You cannot comment on a matter in front of the court. You can comment now because Mr. Buta's matter is not in front of the court.
No, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. So there is a number of persons applied through the procedure, purchase. We call these things bidding. Whatever you're supposed to bid, to purchase these things. To bid, go through the procedure, not knowing at the end of the day they were denied. But there are persons that sitting. This is something that open the eyes of the government. That these persons that sitting in office in these institutions should be scrutinized. Should be, every one of them. Because they're getting a salary when the day comes. They're working with the government and they should be scrutinized. They're getting a salary. Look at salary what the officers getting. Ordinary persons are getting that. Anyway, I don't want it to stay too long. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
If I may make one point, when the gentleman said about the salaries they're getting, it is my opinion that police officers should be better paid. They should have a living wage. The Trinidad, Barbados, the police is unionized. Our police is not unionized. They're getting $100,000 a month. Can you imagine these policemen are putting their lives in danger? They are on the streets and they don't work 8 hours. And when you're ready, you transfer them here, there, and everywhere. And when you transfer them to the interior, they get $100,000 with a very small couple of $100 allowance. And they got to feed themselves in the interior sometimes and feed Now the army is being fed 3 meals a day. And they have all these things. And they're not on the street facing people every day. It is time for this government to examine the salary of policemen and pay a living wage. That is, people are getting a handout. They talk about poverty and dependence. I don't want handout. I want living wage to be paid to the workers of this country. And you can't be paying policemen $100,000. You know, it's ridiculous. How are they going to live? Good day, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You're in
concerning
here.
this Black and White Bridge and Enterprise, Mr. BCSR.
Yes.
Even familiar with this Black and White Bridge and Enterprise. It's in a terrible condition. It's been cut up many times and it's like 1 year now.
What is that? Don't you? It's your phone. You don't.
That's our phone operator.
I'll put it up. Look, we have to take that call off.
No, go ahead. There's another call is coming in.
Hello? Another call
It's
is
not
coming.
like that we can just press. Yes.
Well, it's not like that with the other co-hosts don't have that problem.
Well, when I come here, you probably set it on the part today.
Isn't it?
Anyway, I know what the gentleman is talking about. In fact, I passed there recently, and if he's listening, and I took a picture of the bridge, and I have an intention. I have done a letter actually that I'll be sending off to the press tomorrow about that bridge in Enterprise. It's dangerous, and on some car will fall through that bridge, and then they might take action. It's a whole month, and the bridge is collapsing, and the cars are now squeezing into the corner in order to pass. So I take that, and I hope someone in the Public Works Ministry is listening. But I have already prepared a letter about that, and tomorrow I'll be sending that letter off to the press to draw to the attention of the authorities that bridge is in the price. And you know, it's so funny. These guys, I'm being abused because I criticize the PPP, and that's a stronghold of the PPP. Hello, good night.
Good night, Mr. Kissoon. Good night, Mr. Bisasar.
Yes, good night.
I have a few questions to Mr. Bisasar. You were advisor in the last coalition government, right?
No, I was not.
All right.
I did not have any major position in the last government. I did not.
I think, weren't you an advisor or something?
No. I was not in any governmental job in the last government.
But you ever discussed with your party, where you were part of the AFC, right?
Yes, well, I did. And the problem is...
Let the call.
You asked a question.
You ever recommended
But you
the
said you
party
did,
that
yeah.
the police officers and the security forces that they need, you ever tell Mr. Ramjatan or Patterson or one of them that these people need more money? You ever make that recommendation to them?
Yes, internally. When I was with the PPP for 30 years, I would raise things internally. When you're part of a movement, I would raise it internally, okay? And that is one of the reasons I was marginalized. And when I raised these things internally in the leadership of the AFC, Mr. Ramjatan would tell me, I want to break up the coalition. And that is why I resigned from the coalition, and I slammed what they were doing. I went against them. And I had 7 television programs slamming the coalition. I had letters in the press slamming what they did. So I am like this. I will not participate in a movement or a party that does the wrong thing. I will advise internally, and then I will go public, like I did with the PPP. Now I'm independent.
I understand you. But you ever really tried to, a police inspector in Guyana probably earning like $400,000 or something a month?
I don't know. I think I have the figure. I don't think it's 400,000.
Yeah, I think so.
I have the figures. I will.
And I want to use Mr. Kissoon as an example. Mr. Kissoon went through the hard times, and He is comfortable today. With a small salary, him and his wife earn. They put things together. They send the kid to a university. And I should think Mr. Kissoon is living a good life today. Not up there, but he's comfortable. Why Mr. Kissoon can make it in Guyana and other people can't do it?
Well, let's put it this way. Why you are living overseas, is it? So you're okay. So why are you overseas? And it's easy to be overseas and be critical of people like me without understanding really what's going on. If somebody is doing wrong things, they must be criticized.
I am overseas for the same reason that your family is living overseas.
Yeah, but I'm not my family. You're talking to Bisesar. I am not my family. I am Mr. Bisesar that stayed here and struggled against any form of corruption, and I'm a Jaganite. I am pro-working class. I've always been pro-working class.
No, I'm just telling you, I am living here for the same reason that your family is.
Yeah, but the point is, I'm not your family. You're talking to Bisesar. I stayed here, so don't criticize me in the way you do. Why is it PNC supporters and PPP supporters do not want to tolerate any person? Now there are PNC people who have now joined the PPP. They're being called house slaves. Now I joined the coalition and I'm being attacked. Is that democratic?
No, you're not being attacked.
No, I am. If you listen to this program, I've been subject to attack by people from the diaspora.
Please identify one good thing that this present government is doing or did.
One good thing, they have a lot of scholarships. And they do a lot of infrastructure, but the corruption in infrastructure is high. Overpriced, the tender board is controlled, and they're giving these contracts to their friends and family, and it's overpriced. And somebody get $40 million more than the lowest, and they get the contract. That's corruption.
Why you don't take them to court?
I can't because, listen.
If you have evidence, you have evidence of this?
I can't take them to court. You're a procurement commission.
No, I'm asking you something, Mr. Bisesar. Do you have
I don't have standing to take them to court. I do not have standing.
So then you can do it. You can take
No, you don't understand. I have an LLB, okay? I can tell you, you have to have a standing and interest before you can take somebody to court. A contractor can do it, but guess what? I took it up for the contractors one time to the commission. And you know what? They backed off. You know why? They're scared that we victimize afterwards. That's the reality of this country, sir. You live overseas, you don't face it. Okay? Thank you very much.
So much corruption you're talking about. Why you can't take them to court? You could file criminal charges against
No, I can't.
Why you don't do it?
Why did the coalition not jail? No. Why did this government not jail those corrupt people that they claim in the coalition? They're in position to jail in the AG. Why they did not do it? They don't jail each other. The PNC don't jail PPP. PPP don't jail PNC. That's a reality. Why did the Bharat government not jail the people from the coalition who were corrupt?
All right.
You answer that.
Just now. Yes, sir. Anything else? Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Kissoon, I use you as an example, man. Continue the good job, and I'm so happy that you're okay today.
Once your PPP is okay, that's fine.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Bisesar, one other thing.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. I have a question for President-in-Waiting Bisesar. Yeah. Now, President-in-Waiting Bisesar. Just to give you a couple of facts. About 2 to 3 years ago, Exxon said they had 11 billion barrels of oil. And since then, they found 6, 7, 8 more successful wells. And now, Mr. Routledge of ExxonMobil is saying that they're slightly less than 11 billion barrels, although the government had a number a little higher than that, 11.4, right? So, and then of course, we got mobile gas stations now. So how, President-in-Waiting Bisesar, how would you handle ExxonMobil and Mr. Routledge, because he ended up although the numbers like stickled for 3 years. Would you be able to shift,
Okay,
Mr.
first,
Routledge?
I will first say
Just a
that
minute. Operator, the monitor is off. Please put it on.
the first thing I will say to you is that presidents will have advisors, technical advisors in various areas. So presidents will not know everything, but I will still respond to you. I have written letters about this in the press. Now, all the organizations from IMF to World Bank and everybody else says it's a crooked deal. Now, they promised to renegotiate the contract, but they are now saying they never did promise. My point is this, okay? Chatham House said, and they're one of the leading organizations in the world.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Mr. Freddie,
Yes, sir.
I have a contribution, right?
Yes, make your contribution.
And the contribution is hello?
Yes, sir, you're on the air. Go ahead. I'm listening to you, and thousands of people are listening to you.
It's about farming. What I would like to see that this government do is to make proper road for the farmers. Cash crop farmer, rice farmer, coconut farmers, whatsoever farmers. I went to Canada and to the Belize and things, and I see proper roads where agriculture can come out easily and the people can live a better life. Farmers need proper roads. Proper road. If it's all-weather road or farmers to market road, right down to the back dam. We have the money. Why sharing the money to everybody? And lay a foundation for us, for our future generation. Lay the foundation now. Now we need it.
Thank you. Okay.
We need these things. This is important. A lot of people can come back in this country to meet their land who they fall down at the back. You don't think the people are willing to come back if they get proper roads and proper canal with waters so people could plant on a regular basis? This is very important. I think the president should look into this matter.
Thank you.
This is a serious matter. Remember, oil is not here to stay. And as we have this oil money, let us utilize the oil money in a proper way because this country is dependent upon agriculture. This is a serious matter.
Okay, that's it, sir. Anything else?
Seawall.
Anything else?
Garbage. Thank you very much.
Okay.
As I was saying,
hope we hear from you next week.
The expert at Exxon said, these government,
Good evening.
Pleasant good night.
Good night, sir.
You know, sometimes I wonder if you're actually, coming to this one Guyana that the president actually wants to create for us in this country. It baffles me sometimes when I listen to some people, attack others and attack people, It's just amazing that we just sit by and allow ourselves to be brainwashed in some areas because am I on the Freddie Kissoon Show?
Yes, sir. We listen to you.
Yeah.
And we're hearing you.
Yeah.
And so are thousands of other people.
Yeah. So sometimes I listen to the vice president, and many times I listen to his press conferences, and he attacks people a lot. Mr. Judge, you're a vice president. Sometimes people make comments or shed some light on stuff that is happening that we know it's wrong. And he would jump and attack, and this is what happened to our PPP supporters. We got to stop listening to one person and try to listen to all because we're all one in this country and we're all fighting for one betterment because we had stuff in the past. An opportunity is open up for us now, and we have to protect that opportunity. We all have to come together and protect that opportunity that is given to us as a country that we can develop and become better people and we could be very happy. The PPP supporters, they listen to Jagview and they have the same format. They're attacking people wrongfully. People must have a right to their opinion. If we don't have a right, or people don't have opinions, it would never bring a change in this country. Freddie, as I always talk, Freddie Kissoon is one of the men that stood up in this country and never ran. And he stood up for the betterment of all. He never stood up against saying, hey, I'm discriminating against this man because he's talking bad. And people need to talk out when governments are doing wrong. We cannot sit back and praise them like if they're God. I support the PVP, but I would not support everything that they do, which I know is wrong. Not because I'm supportive to the PVP. I must support everything that is wrong. I must be able to stand up as the people say, hey, you're doing wrong. But our vice president has a way of attacking anything that is being said, right, about the government. And this is what is happening to some of us PVP followers. We are following his pattern. Mr. Bisesar makes a lot of good points. I don't agree with everything he said. I would not agree with everything Freddie might say too. But we have to agree to disagree. The only way forward as a one people, one nation, is that we have to work together. We can't keep attacking each other, because attacking each other every time somebody tries to make a valid point and we attack, it would not put us anywhere. I'm happy that this country is getting money. I'm happy that the president has made a statement to give at least start with 100,000 to everybody. I welcome that. Probably, who knows, next year he might give us a 200 or 300, who knows. But if we don't have people who would stand up for the betterment of this country and tell governments that, hey, you're going wrong or you're making a mistake here, it's not that I hate the government, not that I hate but I'm correcting because I see that you're going wrong. It doesn't mean that I am in opposition against the government. We must be able, as a people of this country now, is to work together, is to have the respect and love. We've been through enough in this country. We had suffered a long time, and now it's time for us to enjoy it the way that we should, instead of attacking each other. Let's try to bring this country as one, as President Ali is working towards, a one Guyana, one people, and we cannot be one if we continue attacking. We must have constructive criticisms, and we must welcome constructive criticism, because that is what changes us. That is what helps us to change and do the right thing. Freddie, thank you very much.
Okay.
You guys
Thank you, sir.
Allow me to deal with that thing, the Exxon thing, please.
But we have to give let's take the calls, because if we sometimes somebody asks a question and it takes so long to answer, and it's a forum provided for people to make the response. When there's no calls, you can comment.
Okay, as I was saying, Exxon says,
if the calls come in,
Exxon says the company will come to us at various times for various things, and then you make demands.
Okay.
But every
Good
time.
evening.
You're talking to Bisesar. I stay here.
You got to tune your television down. Hello. Tune down your television or your phone.
Do not want to tolerate.
Sir, tune down your television. Hello? Hello?
Who is it?
Man.
Yes, I was saying. So when Exxon comes for approval for another project, then we make demands. We do, but what we are doing, the VP is expediting everything. Even the EPA, sometimes they just sign off for the EPAs. So when the company comes to you to request, you drag your foot or you say, look, you want this, well, give me this. Now we keep approving all of these projects, and there's no ring fencing, so we're not getting the profit from each project because we paid off for Lisa 1 and 2 already, but we're taking money from there to develop new projects, so the money is not coming to us. So, and the VP is not dealing with that. They're actually denying that they said they will renegotiate. I am not even saying renegotiate. I'm saying don't expedite all of these projects and so quickly. Why are they doing it? And now the court ruled in favor of the Guyanese people, and guess what? The government appealed. So it's like the government is on the side of Exxon. The government is not representing the Guyanese people when it comes to oil and gas. Now look the gas to shore. They're proceeding, and they don't even have an EPA permit yet for it, as far as I'm aware. So the reality is both the president and the vice president promise to renegotiate. They're not even asking. And they're saying about the sanctity of the contract. Now, everybody in the world knows it's a crappy contract. So nobody will be up in arms or find Guyana as not a place to invest because we challenge a contract that everybody, the entire world says it was a bad deal and a corrupt deal. So then we are challenging BK, bought a wharf for less amount of money, and they're challenging that contract. So what about the sanctity of the contract there? Aren't we challenging it? The fact is, the 2% royalty was recoverable for Exxon. We did discuss with them, and there was a negotiation by the Granger government, and that then the 2% royalty was removed. Okay? So you.
Let's take this call. Hello? Yes, sir. Let me call the operator and let him show you how to answer the phone. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello? Hello?
So as I was saying, so whenever there are two cases now that we have appealed. So when the court ruled for the people of this country, the government appeals it. So whose side are they on? Now the gentleman who talks about the handout, I agree with him, the farm to market road, we need to develop those areas. But what is happening is that we are doing a lot of sometimes unnecessary infrastructure. I spoke about the road. We are going green, and we're taking out all the grass on the East Coast Road and replacing it with fancy bricks and whatever it is. And then all of the highways that we are building, the median is concrete. Now, if you put grass, the water, when the rain falls, it will go straight down into the earth. So we are concrete. We're becoming a concrete jungle instead of a green city. So why are we taking out the grass, and we should be putting plants along the median so the light from the other side will not blind drivers. All over the world you travel, like you go to Antigua and these places, there's a lot of trees along in the median and so on. But we are putting concrete. Why? Fancy brick, because a particular donor might be the person selling the bricks. So when the bricks run out, you put colored concrete. When the bricks are available, you put the bricks. But you're not even seeing the beauty of the bricks when you're driving. So, but it's a lot of money. So money is being wasted. And when you have a contract that one person tender 40 million and one of the crony tender 60 million, he goes to the 60 million. Some caller said, why don't I take them to court? I can't take them to court. But this is the reality. And then they give some people the contract who knows nothing, have no equipment, and they subcontract it. And they pay little to the subcontractor, so the subcontractor has to do a poor job in order to make a couple of dollars. So that's one of the reality with the contractors and what's going on in this country. We are building 6 hospitals, big project with maybe big drawback and big money for the cronies. But you go to the public hospital, you have to wait a month in order to get
Good evening.
Mr. Freddie. Hello?
Yeah, yes, sir. Look.
I want to make a comment.
Turn off the phone. We'll use the landline. Yes, go on.
Yes, I want to make a comment with what the gentleman said, Mr. B. Sister.
I'm turning it off.
That they're doing on the road. Making the country a concrete jungle indeed, because you know why they're doing it? Because people are getting money to do that. It's all about corruption. And people go to parliament and they do whatever they want in this country. Look, the man in Barbados is making the hospital $4 billion. He came from America and he got a contract for $4 billion. It's not finished. And follow the story clearly. They will have the budget another $4 billion for that hospital. That is not finished. That's $8 billion. How much profit? They can tell the Auditor General how much profit they're making. Another thing, the $100,000 Guyana have about 700,000 people who is at the age of 18. Now the $60 billion is only $900,000 will be remaining when they pay. Now where's the 900,000 going? So that is how the corruption continues in Guyana.
One of the problems we face...
You finish, anything else?
Mr. Freddie, yes. Just before we go, just calculate it to a Guyana, one of Guyana scholar. Check the amount of money going left back when you give everybody 100,000. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thanks. Okay, the lines are on the screen. I think there's something wrong with Besessa's phone.
The software is gone.
654-5662. We will have to discontinue that because there's something wrong with the phone. So you will have to use the landline 231. You want me to ask the operator? Robbie, can you come and sorry about this. Can you come in and look at Mr. Besessa's phone, please? Right, Mr. Besessa's WhatsApp number has a problem, so you'll have to use the landline. He's getting a problem when the car comes in to stop the car. I mean, my Mango Pelter is $3,000 and somebody call, you just press this and
it's okay if you come.
The phone comes off.
Just now, that'll open me.
Just get. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
I'm just watching this show, and it looks like a comedian show. You know, you got a man answering and trying to pretend like he knows everything under the sun, and he can't even operate a cell phone. And he's not even listening to somebody like you who is telling him, get the operator to help him understand the phone.
I cannot get the operator. Mr. Freddie has to call the operator.
You know, but what I'm saying, he keeps telling you to do that. But you're not listening to him.
Okay.
Now, what I want to talk about is this cash grant that the government is giving out. And I wish that they would have maybe passed this thing through Parliament, debate it, get a various amount of options and opinions on what they're trying to do. Now, sometimes this cash grant is unfair when you look at it on different types of households. Let's say you have a single parent, female, 3 kids. Now she's getting 100,000 to help her feed a family of 4, including herself. Whereas you have an 18-year-old who has basically no financial responsibilities getting the same amount of money. Is it fair? Should there be a different amount of grant for different types of persons involved? That is what should have been debated by the politicians and the authorities that be, and then come up with a solution that is going to try to get most. You're not going to get everything under the sun, but they should have done those things rather than springing these fly-by-night, notions on people. So I wish when the government is trying to do something for people that they would think about it through, involve the other politicians. Back in the days, Chetty and Bornham used to get together and have discussions on things they want to bring to Parliament. People knows about that. Why can't we do it today? Why it's always them and us? Why it's never us alone? Those are things that politicians, if they want people to really believe them, that they need to focus on. Because Because all it seems is like they're giving out people's dreams. The president said when they first announced it, the president says immediate distribution. They changed it twice. Well, they changed it once because it was, we have 2 times. Yet nobody is telling people when are they going to start distribution, when are they going to start the program. So maybe they need to come out and talk about that as well. Or is there going to be a third option coming down the line? So if you're making promises, and the most dangerous thing to do is to make promise to poor people, because they look forward to those things. When it comes to money, the poor man is going to look at that money and he wants it as soon as possible because you already committed yourself. So I hope somebody can think about that and act decisively and swiftly on this thing. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot.
Point, because this one was immediate, and then the VP said 5 months. Then you're hearing January, and they should have planned this thing out from before and know precisely how they were going to do it, instead of just announcing it and then trying to solve the problems afterwards.
So your phone. Good evening. I think Mr. said his phone is working back. 654-5662.
Well,
yes, go. Yes, sir, madam. You're on the air. You're on the Freddie Kissoon Show, and we're all listening to you.
Yeah, Mr. Freddie, I just want to make a point. Money share out since August month in Barbados?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Give you information. You're a journalist. I received a call from a friend of mine where comrades or the youth from Freedom House went to Barbados, Blairmont, New Amsterdam, Cotton Tree, and persons gave a check. Government gave them a check of 100 to 200,000 since August month. How many people know about this? You journalists, I can take you, Mr. Freddie, to Barbados and do your journalistic work, and you'll find out. Let the president give an account for the money that people voted him for in this country. He gave his comrades, party supporters in Barbados. Cummins Lodge, Essecubo, 200,000, get a check. A friend of mine got a check, and his name was back to the front. And they get it from the GCOM list. That is what happened since August month. So those same people are getting money again. The country is truly running for family and friends. This is what's happening. Thank you very much.
Well, an interesting point is that a budget was passed for this year.
Those are some of the wild things you have to put up with when there's a call-in program. I don't believe a word of the nonsense he said.
Well, I don't necessarily accept that. But what I'm saying, this year budget does not have cater for this.
Your phone is working back. The operator fixed it.
Did something. Let's hope it's right now.
But I hope he showed you how. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Freddie. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
All right. Well, there are a lot of talks about this $60 billion into the economy. First, it was 200,000. Then it's now 100,000 because everybody report 18 from January. I just wish to say one thing, that $60 billion is not cherry pick money. It's a lot of money. And I think, Freddie, I just want to say something to you, that if you were to go and plan a project for yourself, in your home, for your family and so on, and it's about $2-3 million, you would think it through, you would discuss it with your wife, you would discuss it with your child, with your daughter, and you'd plan it. And to wake up and just come to Parliament and announce that, this is the way we're going to go out and disburse $60 billion, and then come back next day, couple hours after the Vice President got a different story to add to it. Then a couple of days after, the President got a different story to add to it. I just think that there's too much money for not being announced in a way that it was well planned out. I mean, I think when you come in for announce that you're going to give out this money, you should got a detailed plan. I mean that you got the name of every citizen, but you're supposed to got a plan of how it will go about. Because it looked really immature, it looked so, like illogical. the way it was announced, and then all the changes they're making, and God knows if there's any more changes coming before the year out concerning the same grant. So I just wish to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. God, the operator said we have 4 minutes more to go. Do you have a call there? Do you have a call? Do you know how to use that phone? This is $3,000. And if you call my phone and I don't want to answer it, look, you press this button and the call is gone. What is so sophisticated about that?
The next
Good evening.
I'll use my other phone next time.
Yeah, with that, Mr. Kissoon?
Yeah.
This one is on.
Calling to make my contribution.
But take it off.
Why don't you invite the Minister of Home Affairs on your program? There seem to be some very troubling developments happening in this country, and people are overlooking it. We don't need
I did invite him. And,
you should invite him because
I did extend an invitation to him.
The situation with the Guyana police force. You got instances where business people going to the bank and police coming and abducting them and taking money, billions of dollars. You have a next situation where some man was going to GBTI Bank and police came and robbed him billions of dollars. You have situations
The
where
police came and robbed.
the police station.
The police came and robbed somebody going to GBTI
Yes,
a bid.
Mr. Kissoon, this is in the public domain.
That's not in the public domain. The police
Kissoon,
came.
A man from Tucson Industries was going to
Sir, do not spread false information. A man got robbed at GBTI with 3 people on motorcycle dressed in police clothes.
No, Listen, Mr. No. They're dressed in police clothes. Where they get police clothes from?
Sir, the facts are, the people were dressed in. How could someone like you say where you get police clothes? So they were on the Tucson thing. They were on motorcycles. They were on motorcycles, sir.
I'm saying for argument's sake, let's say
No policemen rob people billions of dollars.
You cannot say for argument's sake. That's not right.
Okay, so anything else?
Mr. Kissoon, I'm able to read whether only what is on the lines or what is between the lines.
Okay, well, I hope you get. I hope what you're telling me. You tell yourself. Don't delude yourself. I hope the advice you're giving me, you give yourself. You're telling me. For those who are listening, no policeman robbed no one of billions of dollars at GBTI. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. This is Freddie Kissoon Show.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, good evening, Freddie and Mr. Bissessar.
Good evening.
Complain about the way they're making the 4-lane railway embankment road. And as an ordinary citizen, I'm seeing some deficiency with what's really going on with the road, because complaining about Montrose Felicity area, instead of these people work with the existing drains that were there before, that the northern drain and the southern drain in front of the people's land there, moving away from the drain and coming in closer to the road, so you get a fine track to drive on. And in future, if they make a concrete drain there, you have to stop. Definitely you'll be blocking up a lane there. I will appreciate if President Ali or the Vice President Jack Dio should intervene and make certain that you get a full width of the existing land that is left there, so that we can convert to get a good 4-way lane, 4-way highway.
Also, with reference to the cash grant that is being distributed, that's going to be distributed, I think it will be only fair for those single mothers. They should pay them, like give them something like for each child. You can give them something instead of giving the 100,000 alone to the single mother, because they're the people who would really need the money. Instead of giving one person 100,000, and here is a woman now with 5 children or 4 children, she's only gonna get the 100,000. And also with reference to that same distribution of the cash grant, I think the government should say that the cutoff date of birth should be the ending of the year, to who born on, up to the 31st of the year, when you're gonna be 18 of the year, instead of saying that the 1st of January, so there wouldn't be no confusion when they're ready to share the cash grant. That's my take.
Okay, I think, thanks for coming through. Our operator signaled to us that we're 1 minute over time. So let's count to 10 as I normally do, my habit. And if within that 10... Hello?
Good night.
Good night. We're over time, so you have to be very quick.
Okay, this is for Mr. Bisesar. He talks about the government of Guyana, how bad they're doing in developing the country, wasting money. Can you comment a little bit on the 600 million and over that was missing for the Durban Park?
I already condemned that in the press.
Elaborate a little bit more about it.
I condemned,
well, we gotta go.
I condemned the coalition. I campaigned against the coalition in the last election. I campaigned for Mr. Sherman, okay? And I slammed the coalition. Thank you.
Okay, so let's take
the government develop the country. They're going to be flawed, but let the government develop the country.
Okay, so thanks a lot. Let's take this last call and we're out of here. Our operator has to go. You've got a couple of seconds, so we're 2 minutes over time.
You know what I found interesting?
Hello?
Hello, good night.
Yeah, you have a couple of seconds. We're over time.
Yes, these people talking about single parents and disabled people, but all these people get money from the government. Up yesterday, in my area, my community, I had a long line of people waiting to collect these books. So disabled and single, we call it the people without husband, and them saying people who can't afford to mind the children, so getting public assistance.
All right. Thanks for coming through. We're 2 minutes over time. We gotta go.
What I find interesting in most of the people who
gotta go, Virginia.
Attacked are from the diaspora.
Yeah, well, quickly, Virginia, what you want to say before we go?
No, what I'm saying, most of the persons who attacked personally, they live in the diaspora. They're American citizens. And it's strange that they will behave in this way, actually.
Good. Thanks for being with us. Ginger Besessa was our co-host. We have to apologize for
the phone is fixed too.
We have to apologize for the malfunctioning of his phone. I have an ordinary 3000 phone, and you call it, and I don't want to take the call. I press this button, or if for some reason I don't want to take, you press it and it's off.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, look.
This has to be programmed for this purpose.
Well, I don't know about that.
It's okay now.
I've been on this program for 2.5 years, and I don't know about any phone that has to be programmed for the purpose. Look, well,
it's okay now.
Look, thanks for being with us. I think Charandas Prasad should be here with us next week. But thanks for being with us. Thanks for keeping the show alive. This has been our Friday edition call-in program. Our operator has to go. The operators live far and they have to go. So we will see you on Monday with our interview program. The show must go on. Catch you later. Bye-bye.